Hey guys, Connor of the Vinyl Corner here. You know, 2020 was quite the year indeed, but still got some good music out of it, you know. We got a lot of good music. Today we're gonna go over our top 15 albums of 2020. Me and Jared here. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into this. Coming in at number 15, we got Claremont II. It's Not How It Sounds. Back in 2017, Claremont had my album of the year with Lil Mont from the Ave. And he is just a fantastic underground Toronto hip-hop artist that I really suggest everybody get into. He has 3 phenomenal albums now. 4 phenomenal albums. There's another one before Lil Mont from the Ave. Coming in at number 14, we got some Halifax hip-hop legends here. We got Aquaculture and DJ Uncle Fester with Bleeding Gums Murphy. This record has a message. It brings you through Aqua's life. And it's also complemented with some of the greatest beats East Coast Canada can provide. I'm excited just hearing that. So you should listen to the album. It's on Bandcamp. Alright, coming in at number 13, you know, Run the Jewels. They never disappoint. This year, Run the Jewels 4 dropped, finally. Run the Jewels 3 was like was my shit. I think I was in grade 12 when that came out, and I don't think I really listened to much else that year. There was tons of great features on this album. Zach De La Rocha, like that was okay. We had 2 Chainz, Pharrell Williams, and you know what? It was just a hard-hitting album. Great bars. It's a must listen. Coming in at number 12, we got an album that really surprised me this year. Amine, Limbo. I was never a big Amine guy, but I really thought that he had potential with, like, you know, his music back in 2016, stuff like that. It was good, but he never put out a full album that I was like, holy shit. With Limbo, he finally did that. It was absolutely fantastic. We got the Young Thug features. Coming in at number 11, somebody I got to see live 2 years ago now, I believe. Backwash, God Has Nothing to Do With This, Please Leave Him Out of It. Black Sailor Moon was one of my favorite EPs to come out from a Canadian hip-hop artist in a very long time, and Backwash did not disappoint with this drop. It is absolutely phenomenal. Some of the most well-produced music I've ever heard in my life. If you're into anything kind of heavy metal, deathcore, death grips shit, and you haven't listened to Backwash, then, you know, that's a damn shame, sir. Coming in at number 10, we got Conway, From a King to a God. You're gonna see a lot of Griselda on this list. I've always paid kind of attention to the Griselda members, but this year was like unbelievable for them. Just constant releasing, constant drops, and this one, you know, it wasn't my favorite drop of the year. Believe me, you'll see. It's just crazy to me how well Kanye can construct a song and he really knows what he wants on it. Like, even looking at Lemon with Method Man, like, those two complement each other so goddamn well. And yeah, it's just hard hitting Brooklyn bars, baby. Alright, and coming in at number 9, we got 21 Savage, Metro Boomin, Savage Mode 2. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Savage Mode 1. Like, it, to me, Without Warning is just a better record. I like the beats more. I like having Offset there to go, mama. I found with Savage Mode 1, it wasn't like a very concise, well-constructed, you know, put-together album, but this one, it's mapped the fuck out. They knew exactly what they were doing. They have Morgan Freeman on this shit, just spouting about rats and all this shit. I honestly was not expecting it to be that good, but it was really fucking good. Coming in at number 8, we got King Von, Welcome to O Block. Unfortunately, we did lose King Von this year. I just wanted to talk about the amount of potential that was there, because this album is literally gorgeous. With Von, it is trap, but at the same time, it's hip-hop, and I feel like that is a big gap in between a lot of hip-hop trap music at the moment. And Von, he perfectly combines both genres into one to create Welcome to O Block. Long live Von. Coming in at number 7, one of my favorite artists of the year. Debuting artist, Rumor, Drug Dealing is a Lost Art. When the Rascal Flatts fucking cover first came out, like, I was absolutely in love with it. I hate country music. I don't know what it is. I don't like twangs. I don't like not into it. But when you infuse hip-hop with country to that degree that Rumor did, I might fuck with it a little bit, okay? I might fuck with it. This was a fantastic mixtape. His voice is absolutely beautiful. His music's beautiful. And I can't wait to see what's coming down the road, boys. I'm excited. Coming in at number 6, we have Mick Jenkins with The Circus, which is just a short little tape, little EP that came out this year. But you know what? Every song on it is goddamn beautiful. And it had the goddamn song Carefree on it, which is... Coming in at number 5, you know, back on that Griselda wave, we got Conway the Machine once again, but this time with his little EP put out at the beginning of the year called Lulu, which, in my opinion, is better than From a King to a God. Mostly what really carried this record for me was the production, all exclusively by Alchemist himself. And, you know, Alchemist, speaking of that, Alchemist was killing it this year. Absolutely destroyed. You can't even compete, bro. You can't compete to Alchemist. Plus, it's complemented with a beautiful Schoolboy Q feature. And who doesn't love that? Who doesn't love that? Coming in at number 4, we had to do a big shift for this album when it came out. You already know. It's Playboi Carti, Whole Lotta Red, boys and girls. Look, I don't really get pissed off when people don't drop music for a very long time, but this was not the case for Playboi Carti. It's like when At Me dropped, it was, you know, we all expected, hey, it's coming. Little did we know it was like fucking 8 months later. But you know what, it didn't disappoint in the slightest. It really wasn't what I was expecting it to be. But you know what, the bangers can't deny. It's absolutely fantastic. We got a Kid Cudi feature, we got a Kanye feature on a fucking Playboi Carti album. Future's on there. Are you kidding me? Stop Breathing? Oh my god. And coming in at number 3, another guy you've already seen on the list, we got Aquaculture Legacy, a Halifax staple. This is a R&B album, not a hip-hop album, basically just about growing up, coming out of your ways. It's absolutely beautiful. It's my 3rd favorite record of the year, so I think you should go listen to it. I really do. Both Aqua's albums are available on streaming on both Apple Music and Spotify. Highly recommend. Please go check them out. Coming in at number 2, we got Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist, Alfredo. Freddie's always been one of those guys who's been on my radar, but I've never like gotten that into a project. Like Pinata was pretty good. What was the one with Madlib? I can't remember. But I never really got into those albums like I did Alfredo. Alfredo is straight bars, straight hard-hitting goddamn. Plus it's got one of my favorite features of the year with Benny the Butcher on Frank Lucas. That track, I've probably played it like 800 goddamn times. Alright, we're there, ladies and gentlemen. Number one. Who could it be? Of course, it is West Side Gun, Pray for Paris. This album came out like right before COVID really started down here, and everything in Canada kind of went on lockdown, and you had like I came home to my original province and stuff. I don't think I listened to anything else for like 3 months because it is a fucking phenomenal, well-made record. It's just so well put together. Like the features on it are amazing. There's Tyler, Joey, who the fuck, all the Griselda members. Fucking Wale's on there. Track after track, this thing was fucking absolutely incredible. Hit hard as fuck. And if you haven't listened to it, that's weird. Alright guys, so that has been my 15 albums of the year list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the bottom corner. Alright guys?
So I hope you guys enjoyed Connor's portion of his top 15 albums of the year. Now it is my turn to share my favorite 15 albums of the year. Obviously I can't really say much about this year other than it was hectic and hell, but there was a lot of great music, so I'm here to show you my 15 favorites of the year. Starting at 15, we got Sturgill Simpson with Cuttin' Grass Volume 2. These are just some fantastic bluegrass covers of some of his earlier songs, and Volume 1 is pretty much equally as fantastic, but I gave the nudge to 2 just because the track list is a little bit tighter, and I think the chemistry between all the players is a little bit more fleshed out here, and it's got just a darker undertone to it, which I really enjoyed. So if you guys are trying to find some cool new modern bluegrass, Sturgill Simpson really knocked it out of the park this year, and I've been listening to both the albums a ton. At number 14, we have 2020's Darling Child album with Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters. I can't really say much about this album that hasn't been said by so many, but it is just a really bold record for Fiona, especially this late into her career. It's a very skeletal record, but it brings out a lot of the intricacies of her writing. And yeah, the production on here is very dry, which is going to turn some people off, but it is a really great, combative kind of, you know, artsy pop record, and she really just continues to be one of the best artists who's ever lived. At number 13, we got Ka with Descendants of Cain. You guys know how much I love Ka. His approach to hip-hop is so unique, especially compared to what's going on in a lot of the field right now. His style of not using too much drums in his production leads to a lot of really ethereal and kind of cerebral kind of instrumentals. A lot of it really is just in the background. It hangs there for Ka to present himself the way he does, and this is just another great helping with a more biblical edge to it. And yeah, I can't really say much. It's just amazing bars over some really unique production, and just can't say much except you gotta listen to this guy. At 2012, we have a record that came out a week before the year finished, and it still managed to make its way this high onto my list, and it is Billy Woods and More Mother with Brass. Now, Billy Woods is one of my favorite rappers of all time, and his duo with More Mother turned out to be even better than I could have expected. Their chemistry was always pretty good on the features that she's done on Arm & Hammer projects, but this really just blew me the hell away. All of the experimental nature of her music mixes with Billy's experimental edge, and it comes together to create this really apocalyptic but very visionary hip-hop album. And all of their lyrics are very poignant, and all of the production is just super weird and abstract and so different from what's going on with a lot of the underground scene. And I'm sure if this came out just a couple weeks earlier and I had more time to sit with it, that I would have put this way higher. But this record is just absolutely fantastic. At 11, we have 21 Savage and Metro Boomin with Savage Mode 2. I've never been the biggest 21 Savage fan, but this record just blew me the hell away. It's a great culmination of what makes the South the dominant force in hip-hop over the years, especially the last 2 decades. It's got some tributes to chopped and screwed music. It's got some tributes to trap, some traditional Southern hip-hop, crunk. It's just got so much going for it in terms of tributing, honestly, probably the most influential sect of hip-hop's history of the last 20 to 30 years. So yeah, 21 Savage just rides all these beats fantastically. He's menacing, but he also manages to be very sentimental in parts, and Metro's production across the whole thing is just consistently great, which, considering how much the styles on this record shift, is really a feat. So this record is just awesome. It brings together so many things I love about hip-hop, and it just created this amazing amalgamation of a trap album. Cracking into the top 10, we got Eve's Tumor with Heaven to a Tortured Mind. This is just a lush, gorgeous, very Prince-esque pop record. It's got a lot of rock instrumentation going on, but it fuses so wonderfully and naturally with all the synth and all the pop aesthetics. It just creates this really beautiful, lush environment, and all of his vocal deliveries and what he's choosing to do with the production just really leads it to be one of the more creative things to come out of the Prince influence since he's passed away. So yeah, this is just a really fun, gorgeous, funky, soul-y, rocky pop album. It's just got so many good things going for it, and it's just been on repeat since it dropped early in the year. Continuing with the pop train, at number 9, we have The Weeknd with After Hours. I am usually not one to be a Weeknd fan, but this record has just hit so many itches in terms of mainstream pop music. It's got this glorious 80s aesthetic to it with the synth pop direction, but it doesn't do it in like an annoyingly nostalgic, cheesy way. It's just so a part of the fabric of this album and its aesthetic, and 106 Point Never's production all over it helps it lead into darker and more interesting territories, and it just comes together to create this fun, radio friendly, but just really hits you hard no matter what kind of environment you're in type of pop record. And again, it's just been on repeat so much since it came out, and Yeah, Abel really knocked it out of the park with this one. Number 8, we have Liturgy with Origin of the Alimonies. Now, you guys remember how much I enjoyed Hack last year, and this is just another serving of the same ideology of black metal. It's avant-garde black metal. It's got some chamber music elements, so there's piano and organ passages. It's really well thought out. The compositions are immense and just have a lot going for them. And even this go-around, Hunter threw in some experimental hip-hop production, which really threw me for a loop the first time, but honestly, with subsequent listens, it's really genius. And you know, Hunter just continues to prove that black metal isn't this one defined thing, and that it has so many courses it can go, and that it's so fluid as a genre. And it just continues to blow me away how much they're experimenting in such a short amount of time and just showing the possibilities of the genre. It's so exciting, and yeah, it's just a fucking great record. Number 7, we got Westside Gunn with Pray for Paris. This is just a fucking great hardcore hip-hop record. Wall to wall, we got Beat Ya in the Gutter instrumentals, and Westside Gunn talking about how he knows more about art and drug dealing and having a better life than you. It's just cover to cover some of the best traditional-esque hip-hop that's come out in the last 10-15 years. It's just straight, it's to the point, it doesn't overstay its welcome, but it's got great features, it's got great production, and Westside Gunn just continues to be one of the most consistent and fantastic MCs around. Number 6, we have Ichiko Aobo with Windswept Adan. This is just escapism in an album. It is so gorgeous. It is so intricately layered and produced. All of the choices are so gentle. They're almost like a whisper, but the way that they're layered allows everything to have this breathing room while also being so beautiful on all fronts that it's almost overwhelming at times. I remember the first time I listened to this record, I actually teared up a couple times just because it was so overwhelming with how much beautiful stuff was going on, but not in like an annoying way, like she was just throwing everything at you to try and make you cry or something. It was just genuine, amazing instrumentation, an angelic voice, and some of the most watery, cloudy, gorgeous production in recent memory. This is just a blissful album, and one that was needed at the end of such a torturous year. Number 5, we got Clipping with There Existed an Addiction to Blood. This is just perfect experimental hip-hop. Clipping has always been one of my favorite groups, but this is definitely by far their best release yet. This has some of the most choice samples that I've ever heard. What they chose to sample and how that they're blending it. All of these interesting vocal snippets are mixed with all these walls of noise, and obviously David Diggs with the most genius rapping style on the planet. The man literally can do anything that he wants. Some of the most creative, genre bending, just fantastic hip hop to come out in recent memory. It is just a true landmark of the experimental genre. Number 4, this is a album that crept up on me, but it is Charlie XCX's How I'm Feeling Now. I really enjoyed the album when it came out, but as the year continued to go on, it just became more and more on repeat, and it kept meaning more and more to me as a person, and just really soundtracked a lot of my 2020. This is a pristine vision of what pop is going to be like going forward. This hyper pop style with the insane drums, the really whacked out vocals, all of the glitchy, distorted nature of everything. It's fun, it's free, it allows anyone to be a part of it since you don't need a studio, like a full-on studio, to be able to do it. It's just really fantastic overall, and I just couldn't put it down towards the end of the year. Number 3, we have King Cruel with Man Alive. I've always been a gigantic King Cruel fan, and when this record hit early in the year, I knew it was going to make it pretty high onto my albums of the year list. it's really hard, especially this year, to have an album drop in the first 3 months and to just keep listening to it because of how much time you have to ingest it. But Man Alive was just on repeat the whole entire year. It's just some of the most geniusly thought out rock to come out in the last little while. It's so beautiful, it's so haunting, it's dark, it's gorgeous, it's really self-reflective and moody, but it's just so many good things about what makes rock, and especially the more indie and experimental side of rock, interesting. And the way that he's breaking all these genre structures with jazz elements and blues elements and stuff like that into the album just made for a fantastic experience. And again, a lot of these songs just really soundtracked whole parts of my year. So this album is just another home run for Archie Marshall. Number 2, we got Playboi Carti with Whole Lotta Red. Now, this is the reason why I couldn't listen to Billy Wood's album more, because I was so addicted and still am so addicted to this album that I literally have had a hard time listening to other albums because I just want to keep listening to this album. Carti is one of my favorite artists around right now, but Whole Lotta Red really cements the fact that he's willing to do what he wants on his own terms and experiment, and people are just giving him the freedom to, which is fantastic because it's showing so many angles of what can be done with trap, so many unique things that can be done with it going forward, and just consistently song to song, it's a whole fucking album of great trap songs, whether it be melodic and haunting, whether it be hard as hell and almost like punky in its aesthetic. Just song 1 to song 24 or 22, whatever it is, they're all fantastic, and it's just a genius piece of hip-hop music that will be very influential going forward, I think. And number 1, my favorite album of the year for this year is Pink Siifu's album Negro. Now, this album came at the right time. This happened right before all the George Floyd stuff happened, and I'm a pretty political person as it is, so when this album came out I was very infatuated with it, and then as the year just kept going on and getting more tumultuous and more events started happening, it really just had to be an album I was listening to all the time. All the frustrations of our racist police system, all of the injustice in all of these systems across America. It really just focuses in on the aggression and the angst and the need of relief that an entire sect of people feel on a daily basis because of how horrible and how broken our systems have been for so long. And the way he's able to illustrate this through extremely intensely noisy hip-hop, breaking it through into more experimental, like dream pop even in sections. There's really just so much emotion and variety going on in this album, and everything is so quick, but everything blends so perfectly well together. And just, again, I don't think there's a better album that's going to summarize this period in American history better than this album, at least for albums that are being released right now. It's just so poignant, and unfortunately, due to everything that's happening, I keep listening to this album over and over again just because it fuels that fire. It just really makes me reflect on how shitty everything is here in America and tries to push me to be a better person and to continue to do what I can to try and help people that don't have the privileges that I do. So this album is just a masterwork, and it didn't get a lot of attention this year, so I implore every single one of you, especially if you live in America, to listen to this album and reflect on what's going on currently. So yeah, that was my top 15 albums of the year. Like I said, this year was shitty, but we can always thank music for at least being somewhat of a crutch to get us through all the tumultuous times. So here's to another year of good music and all that good stuff. So let me know, guys, down in the comments, what was your favorite album of the year? And while you're down in the comments, hit that description, check out all those links, like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to check out a video at the end of this one. Until next time, have a nice day.